Like to call to order the Wednesday, August 6, 2025 Administrative and Finance Committee. We'll start with the roll call. Mike Mielke,
Present.
Kathy Lohendorf,
Here.
and myself, Alder Stephen Knott, am present. Moving on next, we have consideration and action on minutes from the previous meeting.
Move to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Place on file.
Second.
Move to approve and file by Alder Mielke and seconded by Alder Lohendorf. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. At this time, we move on to public input. Anyone wishing to provide public input will be limited to 3 minutes. Please identify your name and your address. First call for public input. Second call for public input. Anyone online?
If there's anyone online that would like to give public input, please unmute yourself and go ahead and speak.
Third and final call for public input. Public input is closed, and we are going to do a minor adjustment on the agenda. We're going to move item number 9 up to the front next, which is under finance. So I'll be turning this over to Mike Mielke as the finance chair.
Thank you, Alder Knott. And for item number 9, we have a presentation of the 2024 audited financials from Hawkins Ashton CPAs LLP, and we'll have Justin speaking to us tonight.
Can everybody hear me? So my name is Justin Peterson, Senior Audit Manager for Hawkins Ash CPAs, and then the lead auditor for the city's audit this year. You guys should have 4 reports in front of you. The first one being the full financial statements, the biggest of them all. Outside of this meeting, this is what I would refer to. It has the full financial statement disclosure, GAAP required reporting. So outside of today, this is the report I would go back to. For purposes of today, I'm going to cover the summary financial statements, kind of cover the main points. If anybody has any questions throughout the presentation, just jump in and it's easier to cover it as we go through those areas. The other 2 reports that you'll have is the federal single audit report. So this report is required due to the city expending over $750,000 in federal grants this year. Mainly the ARPA funds was the big portion of that. And then lastly is the independent auditors report on communication with those charged with governance. The management letter just gives additional information about the audit. But going to the summary financial statements, starting with page 2, this is essentially an independent auditor's report stating that what I'm showing now does match and is materially close and a representative of the full financial statements. Going on to page 3. Page 3 is a combined balance sheet. So this is all of the city's funds mixed together, utilities, governmental funds, component units, all into one standard balance sheet. One thing I wanted to point out here is something that popped up. There was an intergovernmental receivable at the end of the year. That was just the shared ride grants funds that weren't received until the start of 2025. So when you see a number that there was 0 last year, 370,000 this year, that's the reason for that. Another item to point out is the fund balance is at the bottom of the page. That's what the chart represents on the right side, showing basically where the general fund has gone over the last 4 years, and then the other general funds as well. The other funds will be shown in more detail later in the presentation. Just as a note, as you can see, general fund since 2021 has been slightly moving up, and as of the end of the year, it was at $11 million. Page 4, this shows the general fund only revenue, and it compares it to your budget and the actual. A couple big items of note here. When you go through kind of comparing to the budget and the actuals, you see the actual amount was $1.6 million higher than the budget. The big areas that drew that above the budget was the permit revenue was alone, $785,000. And then also the interest revenue, just over $1 million as compared to the $840,000 budget. The chart to the right shows the general fund, where the revenue is coming from, broken out. Obviously, a majority of the general fund revenue is coming from taxes and special assessments. And then from there, intergovernmental, license permits, miscellaneous, and therefore. Page 5 does the same thing, but now we're looking at expenditures. For the most part, the general fund expenditures were pretty on point with the budget. The only thing that, I guess, if you look at the bottom number, you see that it's 13 million as compared to the 12 million. That is due to the operating transfers out of the general fund that are made at the end of the year. 600,000 made to debt service and 500,000 made to the equipment replacement fund. And then again, the chart on the right just breaks out where your expenditures are getting split out to. Obviously, a large portion of the general fund expenditures are going to public safety, general government, public works. The other category is a little bit larger this year just due to the amount of transfers. The chart on page 6 shows your 3 major utility funds compared 2024 to 2023. And then the chart on the right side shows where their operating income or loss is over the last 4 years. As you can see, the blue water has remained consistent as an operating income over the last 4 years. One other thing of note, stormwater had been largely negative in 2021, and it actually did break through with a positive operating income in the current year. And then the other note, sewer did have a negative or an operating loss. Part of that had to do with the write-offs of the special assessments that were deemed uncollectible. That was $90,000. So there were some long-term special assessments that were held on the books that were deemed uncollectible in the current year. So those were written off. So if you eliminate that, you're dealing with, there would have been an income for the sewer fund. And then page 7 and 8, page 7 is, this is kind of pulling together all the other funds that the city has, where they were at the start of the year, where they were at the end of the year. As you can see, the total fund balance of those are $17 million. A couple items of note, the 2024 capital projects, obviously that is a new fund in the current year. The debt was taken out for that, and that's the large driver of the large increase for that fund. The other fund that increased significantly was special projects donations. Obviously, with the donations that were coming in this year for the community project, that caused that to go up. Page 8 covers all of the different reports that were shown in our audited financial statements. The first report is the independent auditor's report. It's where we give our opinion on the overall financial statements. In our opinion, it's an unmodified or clean auditor's opinion that the city's financial statements are clear of material misstatement. The next report is the independent auditor's report over each major program. This is our opinion on the compliance and internal controls for your federal single audit. There were no issues, unmodified, clean opinion. We had no compliance issues with the single audit. Midway through, there's kind of just an update of where the general fixed assets, capital assets were. In the current year, there was $6.2 million of general capital asset additions, a majority of that coming from those capital improvement fund years, 2024 and 2023. And then the water, sewer, and storm had an increase in fixed assets of $1.2 million. So the state of Wisconsin has a debt limit that municipalities can have. It's calculated based on your total TID amount. So the city's debt limit is $160 million for general obligation debt. As you can see, the city's general obligation debt as of 12/31 was $46 million. So the city is well below that limit set by the state statute.
Justin, real quick, what was the number? 160 million? Is that what you said?
Yep. So the actual limit for the city would be is 160 million. The city is sitting at 46 million right now, so 114 million below that debt limit. Did anybody have any additional questions?
I don't. Everything looks pretty good to me.
Actually, I do have one question. Let's go back to pie chart on page 4. General fund revenue. Isn't it this not where we would also capture interest revenue?
Interest for purposes of that is included in the miscellaneous.
Okay,
So obviously, as the interest has increased over the last 3 years, really, as the move to the investment group, that amount has significantly increased. As you can see, last year interest was 670,000. This year was over $1 million.
under that.
I would also note in 2023 is when we moved our money to Dana Investments, but we didn't until like April, May. So that's why you see the change. And then also even our money market accounts are receiving like 4 to 5% interest right now, which when I came here in 2021, they were receiving like 0.2. So like that's a big part of the change as well. And as we see interest rates drop, like likely, well, we keep saying that, that they're going to drop, then those money market accounts will see less revenue coming in for those.
Okay, so it's not because we had a radically increased amount on our interest-bearing accounts. It's that the primary driver is that on 2023, we were missing 4 months worth of interest because we hadn't entered into investing yet.
Right,
Okay.
that's part of it.
Kathy, do you have anything? No. Anybody else? Sabrina, you're good? All right. Thank you for your time, Justin.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And I will move this back over to Stephen for item number 4.
Right, starting with item number 4.
Can you approve and place on file?
Oh,
Sorry.
I'll move to approve and place on file.
Second.
Sorry about. All right, we have a motion by Stephen and it's been seconded by Kathy to place on file the audited financials. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now I'll pass over for the administrative portion number 4 to Stephen.
Okay, recruitment update from Human Resources Director Amy Franzen.
Yes, good evening. As you can see, there were 0 hires in July. We are fully staffed with our regular positions except for one position. We are still in the process of reviewing candidates, but we hope to have that filled in September.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Moving on to item number 5, update of policy 3.03, insurance benefits. I assume we're turning right back over to you, Amy, or?
Yes, for the insurance policy benefits policy, this was just a continuation from the discussion at council last month, if you recall, making that minor change just for clarification, how we process our
Yeah.
health insurance rates.
Anybody have any questions? Is this something we have to vote on? It's just yes, even though it just is tier 1 or tier 2. All right, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 6, Class B malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license application for Piggy Enterprises LLC, the Big Lady located at 214 Main Street from 8/25/2025 to 6/30/2026.
Move to approve.
I'll second, go ahead.
I was going to say a second.
All right. Motion to approve by Alder Milky and seconded by Alder Lohendorf. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 7, Approval of Jacob McLeese as agent for the Class B malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for Piggy Enterprises LLC, The Big Lady, located at 214 Main Street. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Seconded by Mike Milkey. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item number 8, request by La Crosse Distilling Company for a retail outlet location on Saturday, August 30th from 5 PM to 8 PM during the August Eventide Vendor Fair located in the Center 90 parking lot at the corner of Main Street and Sand Lake Road.
Move to approve.
I'll second. Okay, motion made by Alder Milky, seconded by myself. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Stephen, if you,
Whoop.
if you could just add to your motion that you would require fencing.
I
similar
would
to what we
require
have
fencing.
in the memo.
Is that, okay?
Yeah, if you would refer to the memo, I have the language in there that we use for a picnic license.
Okay,
This is a little bit different than a picnic license. Producers just recently in May of '24 were allowed to have a retail outlet location where they can set up at fairs and
okay.
carnivals, that type of thing.
This is reference, the all organizations shall install a fence around the main point of sale when the main point of sale is outside or in a temporary structure et al.
Right. If you want to incorporate that language, then that will be passed on to the state and the state would add it to their requirements in order for them to get this license.
Okay, we already have a motion, a second. I'll do it as, I guess, I'd like to amend to include the language for installing a fence around the main point of sale as per the memo from from Joanne Marcon, the city clerk.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Mike Milkey.
I have a-
And any discussion on the amendment? The fence? Go ahead.
Thank you, Aldernaut. Just a quick question on the document we have in front of us here, this 21 plus area, this is where we're talking about to be fenced in?
It is, yep. And we have the event organizer online in case you have any specific questions about that. She could elaborate because I agree from the map, we can't exactly tell how big the dimensions of that fenced area might be. So we could ask her to possibly give us a better idea.
Yeah, so are they clear with this language? Have you discussed it? You know, this only one point of ingress and egress, et cetera, with the fencing?
Hannah, can you hear us?
I can, yeah. Hi. So the space that is in the black color that says 21 plus, the other squares on the map represent a 10 by 10 tent. So I kind of overestimated in size, guessing that the max we would make this space would be about 30 by 15. And there will just be one point of egress, and that will be monitored if you guys would like it to be. Otherwise, IDs can be checked up at the bar area that La Crosse Distilling will provide. I'm new to this because of the new changes in what's allowed for this type of event with liquor. So I'm open to making anything work that you guys need us to in order for that to be okay.
I'd encourage you to read the bold paragraph that's in that memo. It does point out everything to include the single ingress and egress, continually stationed and licensed operator, security guard at the entrance main point of sale, age verification, and fence is a minimum of 4 feet. It's all in there. Okay?
Great. Okay, we can do that for sure.
Okay.
And Hannah, if I could just ask, do you plan to tent that area?
We won't be tenting it. No. The only we will be definitely fencing it off. There will be various I don't know how, like a divider wall, like a decorative divider wall on part of it. And then La Crosse Distilling's bar cart is technically just a 10 by 10 tent. So that will be the only tented area there.
Okay. Go ahead, Kathy.
Where on the property is this going to be located? Is this on the building side of the parking lot or is it on the street side or north or south?
So it will be directly in front of Natty West, which is 127 Sam Lake Road. In previous years with August Eventide, before we've had any alcohol at the event, we have made it so that it is more centered in the parking lot, so that the bus lane is still there. So the only change that we're making is that we're just shoving it up against the building this year, for location.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have no other questions.
Okay, let's have a vote on the amendment. All those all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Amendment passes. Now on the main motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, that concludes the administrative portion. I will turn it over to Mike Milky to continue on with finance.
All right, thank you, Aldernaut. And now we're moving on to the finance portion. We did item 9 already, so we are on item 10, the 2025 general fund financials, and I'll pass this over to Sabrina Steger, our finance director.
Thank you. So in your packets, starting on page 32 is the financial statements for the general fund. The first couple of pages being our balance sheet. Then if I can draw your attention to page 37, this will get us to our year-to-date revenues. Year to June 30th of 2025 is $9,590,989.09 for revenues. We have 20.62% remaining to hit our total budgeted revenues for the year. We do have several payments that came in July in regards to state payments that we received. So we've received a lot of those. If you take a look at page 35, the shared revenue from the state, some of those payments came in. More of our state aid road allotment and connecting streets, those types of revenues have now come in since this report was prepared. Also, interest income still looking great through June 30th of 2025. As of June 30th of 2024, we had 20.25% remaining to hit our total budgeted revenues, and we're at 20.62% remaining through June 30th of 2025. So right on track of where I would expect us to be. Then if I can draw your attention to page 49, this will give us a picture of our total expenses through June 30th of 2025. We have 52.98% remaining to get to our total budgeted expenditures. As of June 30th of 2024, we were at 52.15. So pretty much right on track to where we were at for 2024. But I would take any questions that you have.
Anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Sabrina.
I'll move to file.
A second.
All right, we have a motion by Alder Knott, and it's been seconded by Alder Lohendorf to place on file. Any discussion? All right, move to the vote. And all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to item 11, 2025 Omni Center financials, and we'll hand this over to Sabrina again.
Thank you. So next, in your packets on page 50 is the Omni Center balance sheet on pages 50 and 51. Then on page 52 is the Omni Center budget report. As of June 30th of 2025, the total revenues were $403,948.48. But what I can tell you in regards to the Omni Center revenues, we are waiting for one more room tax, but likely we will have we will be doing a journal entry to book back to June 30th of 2025, an operating transfer from for room tax, and that will likely be around $40,000. And we also will do an entry for liquor sales for around $30,000. So we'll be adding about $70,000 to the Omni Center revenues in the next coming weeks. So when you see this next month, it'll look like a different picture as well. And the July AR I just got today is 43,644. So everything's looking really good in regards to the Omni Center revenues. As of June 30th of 2024, we had 40.84% remaining. If we take into consideration that additional revenue, we'll be right around that same percentage once we're able to get those numbers finalized and entered into our accounting system. Then if I can draw your attention to page 54, for our total expenses, our fiscal activity through June 30th of 2025, $446,451.34, 45.45% remaining. As of June 30th of 2024, we were at 45.56% remaining. So right on par from where we were at in 2024. I know Dan's here if you have any other questions too, or if he wants to add anything.
All right, thank you, Sabrina.
Move to file.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Alder Knott, been seconded by Alder Lowendorf, place on file. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to item 12, the funding for MCS Networks, Inc. to complete inventory of the city IT devices. Handing this over to Rick.
Thank you. I can give a little information on this. So Joe had come to me a while back and just indicated that he's been working on the inventory around the city, and due to his other obligations and things he has to do within his department, it's just he's struggling to get to it as quickly as he would like to. So he did reach out to MCS and asked for an estimate as to what it would cost to get us up to where we need to be. And so they felt that they could do it. Their plan is to send about 4 people over a 2-week period of time to get it taken care of, and they figured it would not exceed $10,000. The plan, Joe's plan, is that once that is in place, himself and one other staff person in the planning department, long story, will then monitor it from that point going forward and continue to update it as the new equipment is replaced. So he feels that once this list is created, they can manage it from that point going forward. And so he felt that this was very important, which is why he did not want to wait till next year to get this taken care of. And so he's requesting $10,000. And I'll let Sabrina chime in here as well too, but my understanding is we'll take it out of contractual services, other contractual services, and then again, see where it comes at the end of the year. This was not something that was budgeted originally, so that's why we're coming before you.
What percentage of contractual services would $10,000 equate to? I don't have those books in front of me.
Great question. Let me look at the IT budget.
Sabrina, part of that too could also come out of the water and sewer contractual, because some of that equipment is water, sewer, storm sewer related also.
Yeah, ultimately, I'm just asking, is this a substantial change from what we had budgeted, or is it a minor change?
Yeah, so we had budgeted $92,635 in other contractual services. So we would need to add an additional $10,000 to that. And really, this doesn't really qualify under equipment replacement in my professional opinion. It's not, we're not replacing equipment. We're doing kind of an operating activity for this. So my recommendation would be that if we want to move forward, I'd come back with a resolution, and the offset would be likely interest income, if that is the will of the committee and the council to move forward.
And I think we can, based on Jared's comment too, I think we can figure out what those numbers would be coming from each respective fund as well too.
It's probably a must fund. Just very curious how we're going to pay for it if it's off budget. So, yeah.
And I guess my question was, and I'd asked Sabrina earlier, or we talked about earlier, was, is this something we should budget? It sounds like Joe wants to get this moving faster and not wait until 2026.
Correct. He felt it was important enough to come forward now versus waiting till next year. So yeah, that's something that he feels strongly about right now.
Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, I just want to convey the understanding also that I wholeheartedly agree with this. I know even before Joe got here, we've been trying to do the inventory. It's been about a 5-year project, and we got through a lot of it. and then it's gotten away again. And it's really without having the inventory in the system, especially with MCS to work on things like having the asset tag number on your equipment and things, it just makes life difficult for everyone here in the room has had something in the last 2 years happen with their computer or a piece of equipment, and it just makes it difficult to facilitate those repairs and helping people out. So I think you'll see a benefit for quality of service to our staff and our equipment by doing this and by doing it all at one time and charging through it, it doesn't drag on. And then you have a stitch in time where at this point over this 2 weeks, if it takes a year to get it done, it's all of a sudden, well, what got added in between, and it's just good getting it done in one fell swoop.
Thank you, Jared.
I
Any
guess
other
I'll
discussion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Alder Knott, it's been seconded by Alder Lowendorf to approve. Any other discussion? Not seeing any. We will move to vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to item 13. This is funding for the membership with MS-ISAC for the cybersecurity monitoring, and I'll pass this over to Rick again.
Thank you. Again, this is another thing that Joe came forward with. The memo outlines a lot of the information, but the MS-ISAC was an organization that was funded by the federal government. Their funding is going away, and I believe as of September 1st, it will go to a membership model only. So in other words, only those people who are members are going to receive the services. This is an organization that monitors cybersecurity threats across the world. I thought it was country, but it is across the world, according to Joe. So they do track these things, and Joe gets notified of any concerns that are raised very quickly, so that we can monitor them and he can relay them to MCS, those types of things. So the membership model now is going to go into the tier that we would fall into would be as of January 1, $1,500 per year. If we were to sign up prior to September 1st, we would get the remaining of 2025 and all of 2026 for $995. So there is a bit of a discount purpose for it. And so again, it's one of those where Joe felt because of the information that he receives from this organization, that it's important that we belong to this organization. As he indicated in the memo, there's others out there, but he feels that this is the number one organization to belong to. So again, this is not something that he had budgeted for because again, it was a free membership previously. And so there's $1,000 cost associated with it.
$995.
And $995, yes.
I assume we can find that amount of money pretty easily. Yeah.
Right, if I can speak, this one, I don't know that I'd even do a resolution for this dollar figure since it's $1,000. The $10,000 one, I would come forward with a resolution. But likely he might come under budget in another area just within his department budget. So I wasn't as concerned about the $1,000, but
Amazing what an extra zero can do though.
Right. Right.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Alder Knott, it's been seconded by Alder Lowendorf to approve. Any discussion? I guess I just have one comment. Just want to, Joe's not here, but just thank him because it's nice to have this all laid out. And with the MFA we've done recently and everything we're doing, it feels like the city is in a much more secure spot. So just want to say thanks to Joe, even though he's not here. All right.
The only thing I want to add is part of the reason he wanted to bring this relatively small amount forward was in the event that something, his budget does go over. So there is an understanding as to this was part of why it might have gone over at some point at the end of the year. So.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to item number 14.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion by Alder Lowendorf. It's been seconded by Alder Knott to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned at 6:07.
04.
6:05.
That is 5 now. That clock's off. 6:05.
Can't read those little numbers.